I want you to picture this. You're sitting at an intersection. It's late, it's raining. The rhythmic thump-thump of your windshield wipers is the only sound. Above you, a glowing red circle burns through the darkness. You stop, you wait. Then it turns green. You go. You do this every single day. You trust your life to these three colors without even thinking about it. But have you ever stopped to ask, why? Why red? Why green? Why yellow? It seems like a totally random choice, doesn't it? Why not blue for stop? Why not purple for go? Is it just because red looks scary? But here's the surprising truth. These colors weren't chosen by a traffic committee in the 1950s. They weren't picked because they looked pretty. The reason you stop at red is actually based on a disastrous mistake from the 19th century, a quirk of human biology and the fundamental physics of the universe. Today, we're uncovering the bloody history of the intersection, how light waves dictate your commute, and why the color yellow might be the only reason you're still alive. To understand why traffic lights are red, yellow, and green, we first have to look at the absolute chaos of the Victorian era. Before the electric traffic light, navigating a city wasn't just annoying, it was a death trap. Imagine the dark ages of traffic. There were no lanes, no rules, just horse carriages, early automobiles, and pedestrians all fighting for the same patch of dirt. Policemen stood in the middle of intersections, waving their arms until they were exhausted, or worse, struck by vehicles. London, 1868. The congestion outside Parliament is so bad that politicians can't get to work. They needed a mechanical way to shout "stop" without risking a human life. So they didn't invent something new. They stole an idea from the only industry that had figured out how to stop heavy metal objects moving at high speeds: the railroad. Railroads had been using colored signals for years before cars existed, but their original system was completely different and dangerous. Originally, red meant stop. That has always been the universal color for danger, but here is where it gets crazy. Green meant caution and white meant go. This sounds fine, right? Until you think about what happens when a colored lens breaks. One night, a red lens on a stop signal fell off. The light behind it was white. The train conductor saw the white light, thought it meant go, and plowed right through. The resulting crash was catastrophic. Railroads realized immediately, white signals are a death sentence. If a lens breaks, you need the default state to be something other than a command to move. So they shifted everything. Green became go because it's distinct from red, and they needed a new color for caution. But why keep red for stop? Why is red the universal don't die color? This isn't just culture, it's physics. Think of light waves like objects moving through a crowded room. Blue and violet light waves are like ping pong balls. They're short and energetic. When they hit dust, fog, or rain in the atmosphere, they bounce off everywhere. That's actually why the sky is blue. The light scatters. Red light is different. Red has the longest wavelength in the visible spectrum. Think of red light like a heavy tank. It doesn't bounce off dust or rain. It plows straight through. This is called Rayleigh scattering. Because red waves are long, they can travel through thick fog, heavy rain, and smoke without getting scattered away. You can see a red light from further away than any other color. When you're moving at 60 miles per hour, you need to see the stop signal before anything else. Physics dictated that red had to be the color of safety. So if red is the best for distance, why do we still need yellow? This brings us to the 1920s. Cars are faster. The old mechanical arms are too slow. A police officer in Detroit named William Potts creates the first four-way electric traffic light. But he has a problem. Going from green immediately to red is a disaster. It causes dilemma zones where drivers slam on brakes, causing rear-end collisions. Rear-end collisions are expensive. They clog streets, ruin cargo, and cause insurance nightmares. The city needed a buffer zone to save money and keep traffic flowing. They went back to the railroad logic. They needed a color distinct from red and green, but also with a long wavelength for visibility: yellow. Yellow sits right next to red on the spectrum. It has a long wavelength, so it cuts through fog almost as well as red, but it's visually distinct enough to mean prepare to stop rather than stop now. It was an economic decision as much as a safety one. The yellow light allowed for the clearance interval, the specific time it takes to legally clear an intersection so cross-traffic can move. Without yellow, modern gridlock would be impossible to manage legally. So, The next time you're sitting at that intersection, tapping your steering wheel, waiting for the light to change, I don't want you to see just a boring traffic signal. I want you to see a 150-year-old survival mechanism. You are looking at a system born from railroad disasters, refined by the physics of light waves, and standardized to keep the global economy from crashing into itself. That red light isn't just annoying you. It's using the longest wavelength in the universe to make sure you get home alive. If this story surprised you, hit like and subscribe to Bob Explains for more hidden stories behind the everyday things you take for granted. I'll see you at the next green light.